It'd be nice to have a victory Monday at any point in the past 5 weeks. What is up, Finn fans? You can tell by the title. I'm going to try to figure out what happened to the 8-3 Miami Dolphins, but I also have some other tidbits for you guys, some information, all that stuff. I think as I'm recording this, Mike McDaniel met with the media, so we're also going to look at some of the things that Mike McDaniel also said. So I'll have some tidbits as well with Mike McDaniel. Let's jump into the news and notes, and we'll get into Barry Jackson has a fantastic article that I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to get into what the flip happened to the 8-3 Miami Dolphins. So Dolphins will be playing 1 o'clock on Sunday. So will the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. The Chiefs are playing Saturday. Now, this is how it pans out, right? For anybody who's still looking at the playoffs as a possibility, and it's still a very big possibility. I think we're like 70% chance because we just need the Bills to beat the Patriots. The Bills, if they win tonight, then regardless of what happens Saturday with the Chiefs, the Bills would... Actually, no, that's not true. If the Bills win today and the Chiefs lose on Saturday, then the Bills will clinch the number 1 seed, and I don't know if they play their starters against the Patriots because they clinched the number 1 seed. They are not playing for anything. If the Bills lose tonight and the Chiefs lose on Saturday, then they'll play for something. And then if the Chiefs win and the Bills win, then the Bills will be playing their starters. It's a whole convoluted stuff. It's stupid that the Chiefs game is on Saturday. I think that's one of the games that should have been on Saturday. Again, if you're looking at playoffs and want the Dolphins in there and think that, just get in and you'll see what happens, you want the Bills to win tonight. And you want the Chiefs to win on Saturday because then it gives more incentive for the Bills to play their starters to beat the Patriots, and then the Dolphins just need to beat the Jets, and they're in the playoffs. And a lot of people will say McVay wants to beat the Patriots regardless if they're in or not, end their season, blah, 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 which could be a thing. But all in all, you got to beat the Jets first and foremost, and then they're playing at the same time as us. So while I'm live streaming, I'll give you score updates on the Patriots-Bills game and all that good stuff. But that's that. Then we have some news and notes from the game this past Sunday. First off, Teddy Bridgewater broke his pinky finger, so he will not be playing against the Jets. McDaniel came out and said today that he does not know which stage of concussion protocol Tua is in. Says when he does speak to Tua, he reiterates that there is no timetable and wants him to only worry about the day. So I don't even know if Tua is going to be playing on Sunday. It might be Skylar Thompson, which, again, we'll break down film tomorrow, and we'll look at things with Skylar Thompson as well as Teddy. It's not going to be a long film breakdown. It might be the shortest I've done all year because I'm not even going to talk about the defense. And then supposedly the Dolphins are looking at a vet to back up Skylar if Tua can't go. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. And it's going to be something I talk about when we break down what the flip happened to the 8-3 Miami Dolphins and how are we now in a 5-game losing streak in 8-8. But it is the way of the Dolphin. I feel like the Mandalorian, because we lose to the Patriots and the Jets lose to the Seahawks. So if the Dolphins would have just put together a decent game, not thrown pick sixes, not make stupid mistakes, and beat the Patriots, then we would have clinched and none of this would have mattered. But no, we had to make our lives difficult and play like garbage against the Patriots and lose. So let's look at this Dolphin team. We're 8-8. We started 8-3. We, won 3, lost 3, won 5. And I was looking at essentially where they were ranked after the Texans game. Where were they ranked when they were 8-3? And in points, then mostly on offense is where it really matters. In points, they were 6th. In yards, they were 3rd. In passing, they were 2nd. In rushing, they were 28th. In third down percentage, they were 13th. And in red zone, they were 7th. Now the Miami Dolphins are 10th in points, so they went down about 4 spots in points. They are 6th in yards, went down in yards. They are third in passing offense, only one spot down. They are 27th in rush. They went up because they started running more and started doing better in the rush. This is where I think it hurts the Dolphins offense. They were 13th when they were 8-3 and just beat the Houston Texans. They were 13th in the NFL in third down conversion rate. They are now 24th. They are horrible at third down conversion rates, and the defense isn't any better. I think the defense was ranked like 28th in third downs. And in red zone, we're 9th instead of when we were 7th. Again, our red zone is not the problem. It's our third down conversion rate. Other than that, nothing else to me seems like a problem. But that's one of the reasons, right? 8-3. Now we lose 5 straight. Injuries also are a big factor, right? This team started falling apart, and they just keep falling apart. Teron Armstead, Tua Tagovailoa, and then you add on Emmanuel Ogbah, Nick Needham, Brandon Jones, Byron Jones, Austin Jackson. Xavier Howard doesn't play a few games, and it's just injury on injury on injury on injury, and it's just like, what? Who else could get injured? That could be a leading factor in 8-3 to 8-8. A lot of people say, well, the Dolphins only played bad teams. So that 5-game winning streak, it was against bad teams. And I don't go by that because this is the NFL, right? The Houston Texans, they're a bad team. They're a horrible team. They took the Chiefs to overtime. They took the Eagles down to the wire. They took, the Eagles, and they took the Cowboys down to the wire. If you look at what our team did versus these bad teams and what other good teams did against these bad teams, like the Eagles, like the Chargers, like the Bills, against the Browns, against the Lions, against the Bears, the Dolphins performed better. So I understand these teams aren't good teams. The Lions are, possibly going to get in the playoffs if they can beat the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night. But to sit here and say, oh, they only did that well because it was bad teams, it's the NFL. Any given Sunday. And again, like I said, teams that are better than Miami right now in the Chargers and in the Eagles and in the Bills did not perform as well as the Dolphins did against those bad teams. So to say, oh, it was just bad teams is a lazy narrative. But what isn't a lazy narrative is discipline. I think that is one of the leading factors in what happened to this team, especially in the 3-game losing streak, especially against the Minnesota Vikings, when there were so many opportunities for this team to beat the Vikings. Your defense forces them to punt 10 times. Discipline. The Miami Dolphins are horrible this year, absolutely horrible this year when it comes to penalties. Accepted penalties. They are 4th in the NFL with 106 penalties. 4th, and penalties in a total, so not accepted and offsetting. They are number 1 in the NFL with 130 penalties. 130 penalties. That is ridiculously bad, and that's on Mike McDaniel, and that's on discipline. They are 2nd in the NFL in defensive pass interference. That could be subjective because some of these defensive pass interference calls go one way or the other, but also predicates on the fact that the secondary is playing a bunch of, young, inexperienced guys. And then another reason in my mind why we're sitting at 8-8 from going 8-3 is the play call on both sides of the ball. You get cute in certain situations instead of running the ball on 3rd and 1 or, trying to do, let's try a screen here. Let's try an end around here. Let's try a flea flicker here. Let's try pitching it to, there was one play where we pitched it to Cedric Wilson Jr. and had him throw it on a down where we just run the ball, like getting cute and all that stuff is another leading factor why the Dolphins went from 8-3 to 8-8. Barry Jackson came out with this article, and I thought it was very interesting, so we're going to talk about it. How the defense has failed in every moment of truth in this skid. So a lot of people, and he even starts it by saying, now let's be clear, the Dolphins offense shoulders much of the blame for the team's collapse from 8-3 to 8-8, which we're all saying. We're all saying that's 100% true, and we all agree with that. But he makes a very valid point that the defense also takes some blame, especially in certain situations. He says, during the ongoing 5-game losing streak, Miami has averaged 20.8 points, a figure that would rank 21st in the NFL during the entire season, and is significantly below the 24.1 points the Dolphins average overall season, 10th best in the NFL. Like I said, we are 10th in points for. But this much also has been established. The defense cannot be trusted in moments of truth. During the 5-game stint, Miami's defense has allowed long, clock-chewing, point-producing fourth-quarter drives in all of them. Which, again, and I talk about that, and it's nice to see that we hold the opposing offense to 26 points, to 23 points. Even this past game, we held them to 16 points on offense. But when we needed the defense to make a stop, and when we needed the defense, okay, you got to give us the ball back. They choked. He says here, against the 49ers, the Dolphins failed to convert a fourth down when trailing 23-17 and 6:03 left. The Dolphins defense allowed 10 plays, 34-yard drive, taking up 3 minutes 57 seconds, highlighted by Christian McCaffrey 30-yard run, setting up Robbie Gould's field goal that pushed the 49ers to a 26-17 with 2:03 left and essentially settling the matter. Against the Chargers, the Dolphins punted while trailing 20-14 with 11 minutes left in the game. The Chargers then drove 79 yards on 17 plays, chewing up 8 minutes and 39 seconds on the clock, with Justin Herbert completing 5 of 6 passes during that stretch, and Austin Eckler scrambling for 10 yards on a 12-yard run. 10 to 12-yard runs. Along the way, Chargers converted 3rd and 5, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 8. That drive ended with a 28-yard Cameron Dicker field goal that made it 23-14 with 2:40 left. So again, in both of those games, we needed the stop to keep it within one score so we had a chance to tie it or go with the lead, and our defense going to make the stop. Against Buffalo, after punting the Bills the ball, after punting from the Bills 43 in a tie game with 6:04 left, Miami watched Buffalo go 86 yards on 15 plays in 6 minutes and 4 seconds to set up Tyler Bass' 25-yard game-winning field goal as time expired. On that drive, Devin Singletary ran 6 times for 34 yards, and Josh Allen was 4 for 4 for 40 yards and picked up key 21-yard pass interference penalty on Kader Kohou. In the Green Bay game, after Tua Tagovailoa intercepted at the Green Bay 30 with 6:07, the Dolphins were down 23-20, 3 points. The Packers drove 56 yards on 9 plays, taking up 4 minutes, setting up Mason Crosby 26-yard field goal that made it 26-20 with 2:02 left. Now, the Packers game, and that's not on the defense at all. I'm going to disagree with Barry there. That's not on the defense at all, because Tua threw those interceptions, and it was just horrible. And against a subpar New England offense, the Dolphins, again, capitulated on Sunday, down 16-14 with 9:43 left. Miami allowed New England to march 89 yards on 11 plays, using up 5 minutes for a game-sealing touchdown. So he says in the Dolphins defense, they played all 5 of those losses without Byron, Nick Needham, Emmanuel Ogbah, Brandon Jones, and on Sunday without X and Bradley Chubb. Nevertheless, the lesson to emerge is self-evident. The Dolphins defense cannot be trusted with the game on the line. Overall, the defense has allowed 24.6 points per game and 27th in the NFL. He is not wrong. Now, the offense took a big dive. The Tua Tagovailoa took a big dive. Not saying that the defense, and he even said, again, I will reiterate with the first sentence, now to be clear, the Dolphins offense shoulders much of the blame of the team's collapse from 8-3 to 8-8. The offense and Tua Tagovailoa are a big problem with that 8-3 to 8-8 start. But like he pointed out, there were so many situations where, like, all right, defense, we need you to make one stop here. And they allow the offense to have these long, sustainable drives. Get off the field on 3rd and longs, can't do it. Get off the field on 3rd and 17, can't do it. 3rd and 8, can't do it. Long, sustainable drives. The offense is like, you just got to give us the ball back. Just give us the ball back and we'll march down. Can't do it. So this is a full team problem, right? We all want to point one finger at Tua. We all want to point finger at Mike McDaniel. This is why I'm talking about the coaching and the play calling on both the offense and the defense. Because Barry Jackson hit the nail on the head. When the Dolphins need to make a game-deciding stop. To help the offense and to help the team, they can't do it. The Bills game was a prime example. It was a tie game. Just got to stop them. We can go into overtime. We can't do it. It's just, it's the team. It's the team in a whole. So now we sit at this point, like I said, where the Dolphins still have a very good opportunity to make the playoffs. Bills need to beat the Patriots. Dolphins just need to beat the Jets. We don't know who the starting quarterback is. I'll give you more updates on that. We don't know at what point Tua is in concussion protocol. We don't know if he's going to play, if Skyler's going to be the start. We don't know anything. I do know that Teddy's not playing, and Teddy will probably never play for the Dolphins again. Broken pinky. He's done. That's it. But at this point, you know, we win Sunday and the Patriots lose, we get in the playoffs. It's like, what defense are we going to see? What offense we're going to see? Is Tua going to play? What Tua are we going to see? Are we going to see the 5-game winning streak Tua, or are we going to see the 5-game losing streak Tua? Same thing with the defense. The defense against the Browns was the best defense we saw all year. That and the Steelers and the Patriots. Best defense we saw all year. Other than that, couldn't stop a nosebleed. Against the Lions, against the Bears, couldn't stop anything. So I think that's the biggest. It's a team collapse. It's undisciplined. It's injuries. It's bad play call on both sides. It's just, and again, the whole thing of, well, we only played well against bad teams. We played better than the better teams that better teams than us against those teams. So that's a lazy narrative, but we got to see what this team can do. I have a lot planned, right? I'm going live on Sunday, obviously. We'll be rooting for the Dolphins. I'll be rooting for the Dolphins regardless. I want them to win, get into the playoffs, regardless of what happens. More Dolphin football for me to watch. But when the season's over, I have a lot planned. We're going to review the team. We're going to review the head coach. We're going to review the quarterback. We're going to talk about who should be retained, who should be fired. It might happen before I make the video. We're going to review cap space. We're going to review draft picks, who should be re-signed, who should be cut. I don't stop year round. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm doing the film breakdown. Like I said, it's going to be a short one. We're mostly going to be looking at offense, passes. The run game wasn't the problem. See if Skyler can do better, all that stuff. So I have a lot planned. But I'll see you guys tomorrow in the film breakdown. But like usual, stay classy and fins up.